Today, I'm going to be ranking every single Sonic Racing CrossWorlds character by their car. Now, you're probably wondering how I'm going to do this since the entire plot of the game is customization, so what am I going to go off of? Well, if you didn't know, every character basically has a main car design. That is what each character is going to be based off of. Now, another quick thing I have to say is that this ranking is going to be based off the car's cosmetic appearance and how well it fits the character, not based on its stats or competitiveness. If you guys enjoy, make sure to subscribe, it'll help me out a ton. With that, let's head straight into it. Alright, so to start off, we have Joker's car, the Arsene wing, and honestly, this one is just such an interesting car. I like the red and flaming body, but personally, sometimes the black wings at the back and the talons near the front feel a little bit weird. Nonetheless though, the decals on it are super duper sick. I love how the front creates like a mouth and eyes. It looks really dope, and honestly, it's so cool. I think this one for me fits into B tier. Next up, we have the Banana Cruiser for II, and this one is another really funny one. It perfectly matches the character, you know, bananas, he's a monkey and all. I think the wheel imprints look super duper dope. The overall car shape is pretty unique as well. It's like bananas, and there's not much for me to say about this one, but I think it deserves a solid A tier. Next up, we have Vector with the Beat Gator, and I'm gonna be real, this one is just such a missed car for me. I like the design, I like the crocodile in the front, I love the vibe it's trying to go for being like a DJ. We've got the purple boombox at the front, but it just doesn't scream crocodile enough to me. I think they could have made it sharper, jaggier, more edgy, but I think the boxy look doesn't quite fit Vector that well, but it's still a pretty good car, so it's deserving a sad C tier. Next up, we have the Werehog with the Beast Spike car, and honestly, this one is just phenomenal. I absolutely adore the headlights being the eyes to like the beast at the front. I love the ferocious look. We have these jagged tires. We have the really cool claws at the front of the car. Honestly, everything about this one just screams Werehog for me, and it's perfect. Not only does it match the character, but honestly, with the right color scheme, this could fit literally any other skin in the game. So I think this one is gonna be our first S tier. Next up, we have ourselves Metal Sonic with the Buster M. And again, we just have one that's really subjective because this one, in one way, is really cool. It has that metal and scary vibe that lets you know it's Metal Sonic's car, but again, on the other hand, it just doesn't personally sit the best with the character. I think we have ourselves another B, but I do think it is better than the Joker. Now we have Omega with the Cross Dozer, and I cannot underestimate how good this car is. Just looking at it, this thing is fire, dude. It completely fits Omega's style. If I had to imagine Omega's car, this is exactly what I would picture, and no doubt in my mind, this thing is going at S tier. Next up, we have Shadow with the Dark Reaper, and this one is a classic, dude. It is one of the most iconic cars in Sonic Racing, and honestly, I think that's pretty deserved. Not only is Shadow like the pinnacle of Sonic franchise, but you know, the car is sick too. I like how this is practically the opposite of Sonic's car, which makes it even cooler. But when I'm looking at this car just by itself, I think it definitely deserves its spot in A tier. Moving on, we have our first extreme gear of the list, and this is Hatsune Miku's Diva Machina. Alright, now this one is going to be a bit of a hot take, but personally, I don't prefer this one. I don't know why, but it just doesn't really match Hatsune Miku, and I feel like they could have done so much better with the car, as I've seen tons of custom car designs that have been even better than this. It is a nice hoverboard, and I think it could have benefited a bit more if it was just added by itself, but personally, I think this warrants a D. Moving on, we have Ichiban's Dragon Brave, and again, this one just felt like such a miss to me. The franchise is so good, and there could have been so many things they could have done with the guy, but personally, the car was a huge fail. It seems janky and really off, and it just doesn't really fit his vibe at all for me. The car looks really messy, and unlike some other cars, it just feels super messed up. I'm really sorry, all Ichiban fans, but this one is going at the bottom. Next up, we have Knights with the Dream Sleeper, and dude, this is how you do a collab extreme gear. Honestly, that is just so good. Considering Knights is a much smaller character, I really do like how they did an extreme gear and on an actual car, and wow, I love this thing. It's so fresh and different from all the others. It's vibrant, there's jewels on the back. I love the crown front piece. It is everything I'd want. I think we have ourselves another S tier. Alright, so now we have ourselves Eggman's Egg Drillster Mark II. If you're wondering, this is the second version because the first was in Team Sonic Racing, and I'm gonna be real, this is another one that feels nice and very Eggman core. However, I think they could have done a little bit more to make it something like the Eggmobile. I get that it's basically the Eggmobile with a mod on it, but I just think that there was no need to make it a drill. I mean, we have so many badniks and machines that Eggman makes, so many mechs, all of that. I just think the fact that it's a drill doesn't exactly work for Eggman, so I'm gonna give this guy a C tier. Moving on, we have Big the Cat's Frog Cruiser, and I'm gonna be real, this one is just so nice. I love how it's themed around Froggy, you know, his pet. I love the fishing antenna that's like the back of his car. The entire car is just like a fishing frog type vibe, and it's really chill and laid back. Nothing else to say. This one is a solid middle ground B tier. Okay, now here we have Sage with the Giganto Liner, and I feel like I'm gonna get a ton of backlash for this, but just hear me out when I say this car isn't everything it could be. I love the fact that they made this themed around Giganto because there isn't much else you could theme Sage around. She's a very mono character. Now, I really think they were super creative, and it definitely brings out everything in Giganto, but at the same time, it missed the mark for me. The wheels just seem very off, and I think they could have been spiky, similar to some other characters' wheels, and I think that's a big caveat. The back of the car is also pretty plain as well, and they could have done something there. I have no idea what, but again, this is just very lackluster for me. Again, though, I like the concept, so it's going in C tier. Next up, we have Tangle's Hot Hatch. It's a much more down-to-earth car than some of the others, and I think it's really chill. To be honest, I can imagine seeing this in real life. Although, when you think about it, that might not be as good as you think it is. The fact that it seems so down-to-earth brings it away from the whole cartoony racing vibe, and it just doesn't match Tangle. Yeah, sure, the color scheme and the car shape is right, but nothing else about this really screams Tangle, and I think they could have done some designing, put some decals on to make it more lemur themed. For that, it is gonna have to be C tier. Okay, so now we have Zaz with the Jumbo Rage, and this one is a little bit weird for me. I think this one's really cool because it brings out the punk, messy vibe of Zaz, because you know, nothing about this car is straight and ideal, and it seems really monstrous. Although I think if you look at it, it doesn't exactly match Zaz's color of purple as well as I think it should. On top of that, only a portion of this car is purple, with the majority of it being silver, definitely taking it away from the effect. I'm gonna have to give this one another C. Alright, now here we have Knuckles with the Land Smasher, and again, a huge iconic one. This is one of these staple cars in the Sonic Racing franchise, and it's just so chill. With any color scheme, this practically fits every single character. Like, find me someone who doesn't like this car. It's just so plain, but so vibrant and so fun. No questions asked, easy A tier. Following that up, we have ourselves Cream and Cheese, of course, with the iconic long stinger. And this one is just really interesting for me. I understand Cream is a much more toned back, younger character in the franchise, but I still don't think that warrants how this car looks. It seems like a baby cradle, and is just definitely not something I'd rather race with. The front of the car is pretty good with the headlights, the gold finish, the orange color scheme, but the back of the car just seems really weird, especially with that thing above the cockpit area. As much of a Cream fan as you are, I've got to give this one a D. Moving on, we have ourselves Rouge with the lip spider, and this one is another really cool one for me. I think when it comes to character matching cars, this thing is perfect. Like, I could not give you a better car design for Rouge off the top of my head. Like, this thing is so unique, it's styled, it looks techy, futuristic, everything you'd need. I like the star wheels, I like this transparent blue that's on the back wings. Everything about this car is just so fresh. Personally, it is definitely deserving of A tier. Coming on to Charmy, we also get the long stinger, and looking at this car, you can see what they try to do with it being like a bee nest type to match Charmy's species, of course, but I just think in execution, this thing is flawed. Literally nothing about this car tells me it's related to bees except maybe the front grille. Literally nothing else makes it seem like that. And don't get me wrong, this car on its own is really nice. I can imagine me using this with any character. Silver, Sonic, every character would be good for this. Although it just doesn't match Charmy. That's why I'm gonna go ahead and give it another B tier. Here we have it, one of my favorite car designs in the game, the Minecart. Putting my Minecraft bias aside, this thing is just so simple, and I love all of the different designs you can put on it. Any other color scheme looks pretty weird, but also pretty unique, and I love that. Some things that kill it for me though are the fact that the inside looks incredibly creepy, to be honest, where the rest of the car is cartoony and the inside is just realistic. Plus, no matter how cool this is, unlike the other cars, this thing looks completely horrendous when you use it with any other parts. Using them just breaks the illusion and completely cuts the car in half. I would have put it at S tier, but to make sure my bias isn't getting the win, I would have put it at S tier, but to make sure my bias isn't getting in the way, it deserves an A tier. Following that up, we have Silver with the Neo Lightron, and oh my days, they fumbled this one. I vividly remember the Team Sonic Racing version of this being so much cooler, and I don't know why they went with this simpler design, but it's just too rounded out and curved. I think the wheels look putrid with him. Honestly, this thing just misses it for me. I don't know why they made some of these changes, and this is one of the cars where the Team Sonic Racing version was so much cooler. Easy D tier for me. Next up, we have the Pac-Man mobile, of course, for Pac-Man and the ghosts. And to be honest, they did as much as they could. I'm not a big Pac-Man fan, and I don't know if this is from any of the Pac-Man lore, but from what I know, they just had to make a compromise because there was no other vehicle that could fit him. If I had to imagine a Pac-Man pizza delivery service, this is a similar car to what I think they'd come in, and low-key they've cooked. The wheels are just so elegant, and I love the Pac-Man just like in them. I think the logo being plastered all around it is really fun, and the colors just pops. This one definitely deserves another B tier. Now, next up, we have Spongebob and Patrick with the Patty Wagon. And wow, they went all out. I love how they reference one of the episodes. I'm not exactly sure which one, but I know there's an episode where this car is used, and dude, it is just fire. I don't know what else they could have done, but this one is just so cool. I love the fact that it's just like a burger, except I really wish they gave us more colors for them to match that one episode where they're all different colors. Although when you think about it, you can't really use this with any other character because it looks a bit odd. So I'm gonna have to give this one another A tier. Now we have ourselves Amy with the pink cabriolet. and this one is honestly everything I think it was. Considering Amy is a pretty soft and side character, I like how the car is nothing crazy. It doesn't match her hammer, it doesn't match her whole fierce side, but it matches her calm and chill side. If I imagined her going out for a drive one day, this is definitely what I'd see her in. I think both of her car parts work really well with any other combo you have, and it will just make for a really cool design. I might be putting it a bit too low here, but I think it deserves a C tier. Now for Zavok, he has the Road Dragoon, and this thing is pretty good. Whilst it doesn't exactly match his spiky, scary vibe, I think it's a pretty good car in general. I like the fiery magma grill at the front, but at the same time, the light blue headlights, they just don't work because for me, they sort of seem like eyes. There's like a little nose thing at the front. I don't know if that was intentional, but I think for Zavok, it just doesn't really work, especially for a guy that physically doesn't look like he has a nose. If you asked me, this car actually really fits Sage because I think this is really good for her, but I'm gonna have to hand it a solid B tier. So for Blaze's car, the Royal Chariot, again, this is one of those ones that in practice, it seems like it could work really well, but for me, I just don't like the vibe. I don't know if it's just me, but Blaze doesn't give off that royal princess vibe, and I just don't think they should have gone in this direction with the car. In my opinion, she's more of a fierce and fiery character, and I think they could have executed that and shown it a little bit better in the car design, but it is of course saved by the fact that it is a pretty good car design. I also like that the fact that she's a cat, they gave it little cat ears to the back, so I think after a lot of saving, this one deserves B tier. I can already sense that this is going to be wrong in one way or another, but for Mega Man and Proto Man, we have the Rush Roadster, and look, I have never seen, played with, watched, I have no idea, but I've never gone into the Mega Man franchise, so I have no idea who this dog, cat, whatever he is, I have no idea who that is. For a casual Sonic player that doesn't know about the franchise, that guy has no meaning, and honestly, it is really creepy that he's at the front of the car. It's just a solid D tier, because in my opinion, that doesn't represent either of the characters anyways. Alright, so here for the classic, we have the Speedster, Lightning, and Sonic, and dude, it just doesn't get any more classic than this. This is the iconic car, the head car of Sonic Racing, literally the icon. There's just nothing to say about it. It is purely carried by fame. No doubt about it, A tier. Now for Super Sonic, we have the Super Shining, and god, this car is a grind to get, but once you do, it is perfect. The car isn't actually anything crazy because it is pretty similar to the Speedster Lightning, and I like how what they've done when Sonic turns to Super Sonic, they're practically the same with a color change and a few spikes. So I love how they did the same thing with the Speedster Lightning and the Super Shining. It mirrors the vibe completely, it looks super duper dope, and what I think is best about this car is the color scheme. This gold color scheme looks completely insane when used on anything else, and I think it really adds the final touch any car needs. Super Sonic isn't on this tier list, but he would definitely be an easy S tier. Now for Espio, we have the Stealth Chaser, and this is how you do a themed car correctly, man. It doesn't scream Espio, it doesn't scream Chameleon, but I love how it has the subtle tail at the back. I think the gold front looks perfect. I think it's not too wide, it's really nice and thin, and it definitely mirrors Espio's vibe. It definitely mirrors Espio's vibe and could work for any character, and honestly, that is what I look for a good A tier. Alright, so here we are with our second hoverboard, and it has been a while since we had Hatsune Miku, and honestly, Jet's type, J Iota, is sick. It's flat, it's iconic, it is the Iota hoverboard, and I'm gonna have to give it an S tier. And then we have Storm's type S Stream. This one's another pretty iconic one, except again, I just don't like the bulky look it gives. Yeah, you could say it is meant to implicate Storm, but personally, it just doesn't implicate that either. Like, look at the color scheme. green. It doesn't match any of Storm at all, and there isn't even much gray on here. So I'm sorry, but Storm is gonna have to go all the way down in C tier. On the other hand, the Type W Windy for Wave is again pretty cool. It's not edgy like the Iota, it's not bulky like the Stream, it's just in the middle. Sort of how Wave is. For that, it can go in the middle of the tier list. B. Now we have ourselves another unreleased character, and this time we go Whisper. And this one's pretty cool again. This thing absolutely gave away that Whisper was going to be added, but it just looks so sick. I'm not even going to lie, that color scheme is just peak. Not just that, but its design and shape is so slick too. I love the boosters at the back. Of course, it is the Wisp-On booster, and it really could fit anyone. Plus, each car part works really well as well, and I think this one is definitely deserving of A tier. Finally, we have Tails' Whirlwind Sport, and oh my gosh, they gave this thing a huge glow up from Team Sonic Racing. This thing actually looks sporty now, and honestly, it fits Tails' vibe so well. I like that they didn't just go for a completely techie design, because that would have felt a little weird. It feels like a sidekick car, just like Tails is Sonic's sidekick, and for that, I think it's well deserving of C tier. These last 4 characters are just here, but they don't have any cars, so I guess you could put Eggman with Omega, and these 3 can go with their other variants. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It's free, easy, and it'll help me out a ton on my journey to hitting 15,000 subscribers before the end of the year. If you have any other ranking suggestions, let me know down below in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.